Hello, 191 subscribers. I read a book, The BP and the Agents of W. Issue number 2. This was either the Okoye comic book or the Wasp comic book or the Fat Cobra comic book. That's right. You better put all of his name when you say his name, Fat Cobra. This man, we'll get to him. So it began with Okoye. Second page, she's being stabbed by Black Panther. What's going on, right? Surprise. Great. And then goes to another page of it, and it's Wasp. And it looks like a continuation of what's happening in the Iron Man series continuity. And she had a big line when she was talking to Ultron Pym. She says, "You made me feel small." Then she shrunk because that's the nature of her power. It served so many that it was just great writing. So I like that, seeing Wasp shine. And I thought this was the Wasp book. Now, what's happening here is that the Sentry, he's got some reality warping, as they explained in his description there, just reminding me why I hate the Sentry so much. And he's just been playing this trick on everybody. Okoye had to fight it off, and when BP checked on her, she's like, "Don't worry, I'll get the message done. If that's what you're asking, I'll get." She's just a warrior. Nice peek into the character of Okoye. That was her moment, though. That was it. The Black Panther, he's got his suit, and he can deter any of those genjutsu forces. Genjutsu, that's a Japanese word. You don't know what that means. Reality warping efforts of the Sentry, and so he was good. You see, by giving Black Panther not that many lines, he still, or moments in the comic, he still shined. Like, because the few times he did speak, like there's this time with him and his two girls behind him actually doing the speaking shows leadership roles. So the lines that he was given were amplified, like by the artwork and by the words that he was saying. And it's like, I get it. It's the Black Panther. He's not just here on the title. He's also here as the leader. The leader. So with Wasp and Okoye out of the scenario, now it's Fat Cobra's chance. And I looked at this picture that you see on the screen here, and I'm trying to figure out, who the hell are these people? I spent a good actual 60-second minute looking at who they were. I don't know anything about Fat Cobra, so this is the most I'm ever going to get. And the line right afterwards explains that, yeah, they're these dead lovers and vengeful children. But I didn't know that before today, so good to see him knowing what's going on. And he defeated them, so he's got this, like Okoye said, he's got the best chance against this energy reality warping stuff from Sentry. He's fused with the Black Void, as they explained in that little description, and it looks like the Black Void is not in him anymore because of Fat Cobra, and you better call him Fat Cobra. That's his whole name. When Fat Cobra said "Expladin palm of the ravenous redeemer," I was, where has he been my whole life? How is he not a title character? Who is this guy? I don't need White Fox. Give me Fat Cobra. If they're trying to do the Asian thing, give me Fat Cobra, man. I want to see him in a movie, hopefully with Kevin Feige being the leader now he's the chief. I know there's the word creative in there. Officer, because he's that, which just means F Ike Perlmutter. That's the way I interpret it. But there's still going to be people. I'm not even going to pretend like I know what's going on. I just know that he can pick up the phone and say, "I'm doing Shang-Chi. I'm going to have this guy Fat Cobra, put him in a movie. Hey, Blade movie coming up in 3 years. Prepare, put him in the Avengers for me." Thanks guys. I know he can do that. That's why I think it's happening. That's why he just randomly showed up in this comic, I think, in my subjective opinion. Jim Zub, if you're in the comment section, let a brother know. Is this a mandate that you got? No, he's not going to tell him. He's not going to do that. Fat Cobra, though, he had two kind of powerful moves. I think he's sort of like Doctor Strange, where he can just name a spell, and we just gonna have to believe that he can do that. The second move that he had turned the Void into a black, like if you watch Dragon Ball Z, what Boo used to do to his enemies, turned them into candy, swallowed it, and it was gone, disappeared. They went the extra effort after Thor and Doctor Strange came to show up, and Thor is a legend. I love the way that Black Panther said, "Drop the hammer," and the very next page of the book, it was a page reveal, which I love, man. I compliment comic book writers and artists too, specifically the artists, for doing this, because what they have is the ability to create anticipation. Drops the hammer. What could that mean? I'm thinking emotions. I'm forced, because it takes a half second for me to go from here to here, to use my imagination, to think what could possibly be next, to want to know what's next, to turn that page even faster if I want to really know what's next. And there we see Thor hammering down Sentry. And then yeah, the guy powers up. I shouldn't show too many pages. The guy powers up and he gets the candy, eats it up. Doctor Strange diagnosed him, which is great because Doctor Strange and Thor are not on the teams according to the first page. They're not advertised. There's a mystery person over there on the other side, and it looks like that's going to be who Sentry's role, or maybe it's going to be revolving door like Jason Aaron's Avengers. He ate the Void. Okay, when Doctor Strange said it's gone, they made the efforts to bring this guy in and explain that to me. I'm thinking, fine, we've solved this Sentry problem. Game over. The next thing that Okoye says to him was this line here. I know you're quite confident in your digestive powers, but we must be certain it's gone, Fat Cobra. She called him Fat Cobra this time too, the full name. And in any of that power lingers, it could place all of us in jeopardy. It's like that little glimmer of hope because it looks like Zub is done with Sentry and the Black Void and looks like he rehabbed him. Sentry went back up to space. Hopefully he'll be back. So he's still powered, right? He's just not demented and he's still powered though. But with him losing the Black Void, that just makes him more interesting for me. Maybe he can't do the reality warp anymore and he's strictly super strong, super durable, and can fly. But that's all. What Okoye's line says to me is, a new writer is going to want to do the Century story, and so we'll leave this glimmer of hope to explain that the Void is undefeatable, and when the Void comes back, it'll be not contradictory to this. Again, don't like Century. Did like this comic book. I will give it, Fat Cobra. Let's give it 9 out of 10. Quote in the description box so you can copy and paste Jim's up. Thanks for watching the vids. Watch my X-Men video because everyone loves the X-Men. And everyone loves the moon apparently. Chillmonger out.